closely.
Yes.
Is it better now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a bit
Perfect.
better. Great. Okay, just one second. Okay, so we should be going live right now.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the quarantine sessions. We're here for another session. It's more than 25 episodes right now. And today's it's going to be a very, very insightful one. We're going to talk about 5 tips for your go to market strategy. And we have one of the top entrepreneurs in Egypt and the Middle East. His name is Ahmed Galal, and he's the founder of Taskty. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you a lot, Valentina, for this opportunity, and thank you for the invitation and for pronouncing my name the right way.
Is that a problem that happens a lot?
Yeah, yeah, a lot. You're saying
Wow,
Galal like an Egyptian. Yeah, I think you should get your passport.
that's good. That's good to hear.
Thank you.
Um, so let's start a little bit by introducing the idea of a go-to-market strategy. Not every entrepreneur knows that from the get-go, from the beginning. So why is it important to build one, and what is it exactly?
Actually, there's a lot of definitions. It's not a Bible. There's a lot of definitions. People are using the same term in different ways. And as a guy who used to be a former dentist, so I don't claim that I have all the academic background behind the term, but for me, I see it as a way to plan your journey until you reach product market fit.
Right.
Once you reach product market fit, you need a little bit different setup. So from the day I see that it's very important to start thinking about your go-to-market strategy from day one, even before starting to build your product.
Yeah.
So it's a journey that will take you. It's a plan for a journey that will take you from day one until you reach product market fit.
Right.
When you reach product market fit, so it's time for growth, and growth is have different way of thinking. But I see it as a mini business plan that's focused mainly on the product and the customer, and that you will use it for a brief time until you reach product market fit. That's the
Right.
way I think it's for startups, because it's different when you are speaking about different kinds of companies.
Right. Right. So, where do you start? Let's say you're launching your business, right? Where should you start? What is the first step to think of that strategy? What is involved in that?
Yeah, actually, to take a product and deliver it to the customers until they love it and you reach product market fit, you need all the team to work together, because people usually look to it as just a marketing plan. It's not a marketing plan. Actually, I see the product part is the most important one,
Hmm.
because in the very early stage, um, the biggest mistake you can do is to build the wrong product or build the right product and offer it to the wrong customer. So you need to have a very deep understanding of the market first. You need to have very deep understanding of your customers, of their pain, of their problems, and how you're gonna solve it before you start doing anything. Because if we are building everything on a product with no need,
Hmm.
so nothing gonna work. Even if you spend some money, you can get some traction at the beginning, but later you will discover that it's not the right fit. So I think it's really important to start first by understanding the market, the problem in the market that you want to solve, because usually when we think as a startup, we build products that's focused to solve a pain, that's focused to solve a problem. That's the only way to grow as a startup, because if there is no intense pain in the market that you are solving,
Yeah.
it will be very hard to grow as fast as the startups should grow.
Yeah.
So number one, you should understand your market. You should understand what the problems that you are trying to solve, and an outline of the product that you are trying to build to solve this problem. Once you have your value proposition map is a very, very small tool that we put the most important uh, value propositions that we offer to our customer. What exactly are we? What the values that we are offering to our customer? How are we helping our customer to solve the problem that we started the product to solve? So once you have a very solid understanding of your value proposition, you should start preparing your go-to-market strategy. When you look online, you'll find a lot of templates. You'll find a lot of ways to do it, and it's really confusing because I've been there before. Also, I'm
Yeah.
mentoring a lot of startups, either by Flatix Labs, Star Egypt, and a lot of other initiatives. So I see very early stage founders usually get confused by the amount of data and the amount of tools available for the go-to-market strategy.
Yeah.
I try to keep things really, really simple. What we need to do is to deliver the value that we are building to our customers. That's what we are trying to do. So, number one, you need to understand who is this customer and what is the pain that we are trying to solve. So, number one, you need to know, sure, after doing all your market research, but now we need to find the very, very, very definite segment that is in a very, very big need, and they have a very intense pain, and they will be the most people who will welcome our product, who will find it as like something they were praying for. So number one is to find the segment that will value your product most. So also there is a very common mistake happening here, because for example, I'm selling online, I'm doing an online store to selling printed t-shirts. Actually, half of the population buy printed t-shirts someday or another, but you are not selling to the half of the population. You will be very easy to lose your focus. So you need to find a very, very focused group and offering them a very, very focused value proposition. You are offering them a solution for the problem they have in one sentence, for the very targeted group that is suffering more from the problems that we are solving. So it's really easy to say that I'll go and like selling my product. My product is a good fit for 10 million people. I don't want 10 million people at the beginning. I just need 500,000, 200,000 that will really value your product. So number one, we need to find this kind of customer, the customer that will value our product most, and we need to understand him extremely well. We need to build what they call a persona. A persona, it's a term that seems like very, very intense academic marketing thing, but I just think about it as just, you need to know those people. You need to know how they think, what's their problem, what's the most comfortable way that you will use to solve this problem, how they talk, what's the language that they use, when are they spending their time online or offline, what are the communities that those people belong to. You need to have a very, very well understanding of their daily routine. Actually, sometimes it seems like a very overkilling to know exactly which kind of sport clubs they like. It seems like a very, very long shot. But actually, when you are doing a marketing campaign, you can target the pages of those sports clubs. I can be selling something that's not related to sports at all. But I know, for example, that my target segment in love with, let's say, Barcelona. So I target the people who are interested in Barcelona because I know my target segment most probably will be there, even if it's not directly connected to what I do. So it's really important to have your persona graph or schema or whatever you want to call it. I need to understand those people because I want to talk to them in the right way. I want to find them in the right places. I want to offer them the values that they need. So you need to understand your customers very well. That's number one. Now I know my customers and I know my product very well. I know what the values I know what the problem that I'm solving. I know what the top value proposition. Now I need to inform my customers that I know very well about the values that I'm offering.
Right.
Now we need two things. We need to know what are we gonna say, what is the message that we want them to hear. You can call it as the brand identity. What's the brand identity? What's the brand positioning that I want to put into their mind? This is number one. And how can I reach those people? So this is very important. If I understand my customers really well, it will be very easy to get a message because I have the value proposition. I know, for example, let's say let's say that, for example, in Taskty, in my company, we are mainly a platform for people who are a platform for people can order maintenance and cleaning. It's an online marketplace for home services. So when we did our market research, we discovered that at the beginning we were, without doing a lot of market research, because we did this mistake, we started to push the product into the market without doing the very, very good market research. we were thinking that people will like the pricing most. People like the affordable prices. They can pay more for this price, for this service. So we said, okay, let's offer very, very cheap prices and discounts. It was not going very well. Then when we started to talk to our customer, we discovered that the customer's most important pain is the credibility and the safety, because you are bringing someone into your house. And there was no any other alternatives when we started. So the only possible solution is to go to the street, pick someone that you don't know, and take him to your place. So this was a very big security issue. When we started to speak to our customer, we discovered that our main value proposition is to have home services that's secure. You are not putting your family in danger when you're ordering this service. So we started to focus on that in the messaging, and the results was really, really good. So mainly we need to discover what is the most intense pain that our customer have, and we put it in a message using the same language they understand, using their terms and their way of talking. So you don't want to look weird to your customer, you know?
Right.
And then, okay, now we have the messages. Mainly we put all the value propositions we have, and we start to collect them in sentence. Like, for example, if we have three main value propositions, like safety and convenience and reliability. So we start to put them on a small map, and we start to write sentence between each 2 points. So we make a advertisement message that collect safety and reliability, and then reliability and so I hope you can understand. So we have three main value propositions. So we start to mix and match between them and get as much marketing messages as we can. Now we have those marketing messages. Now we need to know when are we gonna offer those messages. How can we deliver those messages to the customer? Now we forgot something that's really important: the price. What's the price that we will put for our product or service? Why I remembered it now? Because the price is a very important factor when you are selecting the channel to deliver your message.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your margins is really, really good and you are selling a very, very expensive product, you can afford more expensive channels. But if your margins is tight and you are selling a product with a very low basket size, so most probably you won't afford very, very high cost, the channels that have very high cost. So you need to put some pricing model. It's not just guessing. We are not just guessing a number. Mainly, we have to talk to our customer to understand the problems that we are solving. How much are they willing to pay to solve it? Because it's really important.
Yeah.
How much money are they losing because of this problem? Because if someone has a problem that's costing him like $20 per month, he won't be able to pay you $30 per month to solve it. You should understand exactly what's this problem and how much are they willing to pay to solve it. Also, it's really important to check the competitors.
Mm-hmm.
If you have competition in the market, you go and check your competitors and see how much are people paying for those services or products. And it's really important at this point to understand that just being cheap is not a good edge in the market.
Right.
Because some entrepreneurs say, okay, I'll build something like, let's say like Netflix. Netflix is charging people for $12. I'll build it and charging them for $5. So it's not a very good strategy, because most probably you have miscalculation, you will lose your money, and you will go out of business. If you can offer this service cheaper than the competitors, while having the same margin and having healthy unit economics, that's good. That means that you discovered something to reduce your expenses, you reduce the cost of the product. But
Right.
if you are sacrificing your margins, it's not a good edge to win the market.
Right. Just before moving on, Ahmed Hussein is asking, he didn't get the point. I think he's referring to the point when we were talking about pricing. He's asking if you can repeat it with an example.
Yeah. For example, let's say, okay, let's think about something. For example, in Taskty, when we are speaking about our company, when we started the company, we said that, okay, people will pay the same amount of money they pay if they go and pick a technician from the street. So if there is a task in your home, and when you pick a random technician from the street, it will cost you $10, we will sell it for $10.
Mm-hmm.
We will just make a very, very small margin so that the supplier can offer the service to the customer at the same price, and then we take our margin, which is very small. Just we thought that the supplier will be able to pay this small amount of money from his fees just because of the volume, because we will drive a lot of business to him. So, for example, when we did that, we started to see that the customers, again, the price is not very important. They have a problem, yes, and they are willing to pay a little bit more money to solve it. So we started to change our business model a little bit and started to increase the prices a little bit, so the customer can pay like 10% more, but enjoy the safety and the reliability of the platform. So from the experience we have, we thought that the customer can pay another 10%. So at some point of time, we tried to increase our prices like 10% more to be 20% more than the market, than the freelance market. I mean, the technicians and the small shops in the street and the freelance cleaners. So yeah, 20%. We started to see some change in the behavior of the customers. Actually, people they don't like that they are paying 20% more. So for now, we know that the reliability and the safety problem that they have, they are willing to pay 20%, 25% more, but not more than that. Why? Because actually we focus on the repeating customer, the customer who order a lot of orders every month. So when this happens, it's a fixed cost that you have to pay a lot, like frequently. So it's not easy to go very, very high in prices. So for example, if you have a problem, if you have a problem in your tracking, you can track your campaigns on Facebook very well. You are missing some of the people who buy your product. You can track the campaign they came from, and this is costing you, like, let's say if your budget is $1,000 per month, for example, a very small budget, $1,000 on Facebook, and you are losing, and you are 20% of your spending is wasted because you have problems with tracking and analytics. So if you offer me an analytics tool that will cost me $100, it's okay. I'm losing 200, and I'll pay you 100, and I'll save myself 100. It's okay. It's really high, but it's okay because you will save me some money. But if you offered me a product with $300 per month fees, in this case, your product is costing more than the problem it solves. So yeah, I'll enjoy the problem and save my money. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Right. Ahmed Abdelaziz has another question. He's saying, as far as I see it, being able to quantify the cost of a service in a fixed price scheme is Taskty's most solid value proposition. Most of the times, people do not know the cost until the task is finished.
Yeah, we have some. Actually, we have many different services. Some of them are pre-priced, like when you ask for cleaning, pest control, most of the painting, many of the services we have is pre-priced. But for example, if you have like the electricity is not working and you don't know exactly what's the problem, so in this case, the supplier should move and he will start to see the problem and do a diagnosis and give you a quotation, and you have the right to accept it or refuse it. But the point that even after the customer pays the fees, the customer is not coming from Mars. He's living in Egypt, and he tried this service before with freelance technicians. So when he see the amount of work done, he can give an estimate about the price. So even after the service happened, he say, okay, yeah, I paid like 10% more than the market. It's okay, I can pay. If he discovered that he paid like 50% more, no, it's a problem. I want to order again. So even if some products are not pre-priced, the customer can do the calculation after paying the money. So you should have some kind of regulations inside the company to make sure that the price is within the range that we are planned within our strategy.
Right. Aside from pricing, I'm also very curious to hear what was Taskty's from the beginning. What was the go-to-market strategy that you presented when you were pitching?
Actually, back then, that's why when we were when we were emailing each other, I told you I would rather speak about the mistakes, because actually one of the biggest mistakes we did, that we didn't have a very clear go-to-market strategy. Actually, we did the mistake that I'm trying to advising everyone not to do, which is loss of focus. We were trying to sell too many value propositions to too many customer segments, offering too many services in a complete spaghetti mix of customers and products and value propositions. And this actually cost the company a lot of time and money. Actually, we needed to work on a very, very wide customer segments. Like, we were trying to sell to everyone, all the services, and our messaging was not clear. We were trying to solve everything. This is wrong, actually. Later, we discovered that, okay, you can't sell everything to everyone, because actually when we started, we have very little experience, and it was very early in the ecosystem in Egypt. So actually everyone was doing this mistake. Actually, until now, I see most of the startups are doing this mistake. They don't have clear focus. So our go-to-market strategy was not focused at all. We were selling like everything to everyone with less price than the market, which was crazy. So that's why I'm keep repeating that you can save yourself a lot of time, money, if you understand your market really well, understand your customer, do a good pricing practice, and have a strategy for have a plan for pricing, have a positioning for pricing. Are we planning to be the very expensive, very high-end product or service, or we are planning to compete on prices, or we are planning to be a little bit over the market, but offering the value that customer can really buy for this amount of money? So it's really important to know exactly where you want to position your brand in the market. It's really important.
Right. Ahmed Hussam is saying, you hit the point, Ahmed. I think cost is controlling here. Am I right?
Cost is controlling?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand, Ahmed, the question. Cost is controlling. If you want to rephrase it so that we can understand it better.
Actually, if he's speaking about Taskty, yes, we are collecting feedback about the prices after the order finish. So we know after the order happened, we know the price paid, and we have some code that do some red flags, and we have sometimes even we do some manual checking. If we have too much red flags on a supplier, we start to do manual checking to make sure that he's not overpricing our customers. So yeah, if this is what he means.
He's asking, what if the customer is heading to the low cost, not caring about the quality?
It depends on the type of product or market. In this case, it's a war to, it's a commodity. It's a war to zero, and actually, it will squeeze your margins every time, and the guy with the bigger gun will win here, because the man with the biggest amount of money, he will start to burn the prices until he kills everyone and he enjoy the market himself alone. So,
right. Ahmed Yusuf is asking.
You can always discover values that the customer is willing to pay money more. Actually, I don't advise anyone to go in this kind of price war. Price war is bad. It's bad for everyone. Actually, if industry shifted completely to become a price war, it's a bad industry to join. It's not a good industry to start a business in, because the margins will be very small. But I bet that all the time you can always discover a value that the customer are willing to pay money for more than he pays for your competitors.
Right. So Ahmed Yusuf is saying, you are with fixed price for all clients or flexible price for each client to acquire?
It's a very important question. Actually, here there's a very important balance to do, because when you are doing a definite price for each customer, like you are doing quotation for each single customer, it's usually not very scalable, because when you need to do a different offering for each and every single customer, it's not scalable. You can't scale to serve like tens of thousands, 100,000 customers per month using this way. Maybe in the beginning, you can do some of this, not a problem, because you need to have more customers. You need to have more customers just to close your feedback loop. You need to hear from them after they hear they use your product. So at the beginning, you can do this sacrifice, but on the long term, I'm trying to make everything either fixed pricing or with a very clear way to be calculated. And even in Taskty, for the task that's not pre-priced, we are not the pricing is not happening inside Taskty. Actually, the supplier is doing the pricing, so it's not to hurt our scalability.
Right, right. Ahmed Abdelaziz is asking, what type of market is Taskty? Monopolistic competition, oligopoly? Are there others providing your service?
Sorry?
Are there other? So he's asking about the market in which you operate.
Yeah.
Is it a monopoly, a oligopoly? Are there others providing your service?
I'm a dentist, but there is other competition. I won't dive deep into those definitions because I used to be a dentist someday. So actually, yeah, there's a lot of competition now. There's a lot of companies. We are the market leaders, but there's a lot of other companies offering similar services. Some of them are specialized in cleaning. Some of them are specialized in maintenance. But we started to see some competition. Like there's other, like I think 6, 7 companies.
Right.
From different sizes. Yeah.
Right. And Ahmed Hossein asked, what is the customer is pushing us to a low budget, even if it is low quality?
I don't know what's the kind of business, because this depends on the kind of business. It depends. Actually, I guess the customer is pushing you to put low price, and then he will fight about the quality later. He will take good quality, but after a big fight. But he wants just to fix the price to a low price at the beginning, and then he can get the quality later by fighting with you.
Right. So you spoke a lot about messages and basically marketing messages to get to the customer. What is the difference then between the marketing plan and the go-to-market plan? Like, what is the main differentiator there?
Actually, the marketing plan is a little bit broad and covering like a longer period, while the go-to-market strategy, actually, there is pieces inside it from the marketing plan. Because when we speak about the market size, when we speak about the brand positioning, when we speak about the target segment, the personas, everything, it's part of the marketing plan. But actually, in the go-to-market strategy, it's a mixture between the product marketing and the delivery, because at the end you need to deliver your service or product to a customer. So distribution is also considered as part of the go-to-market strategy, because I was trying to follow the steps to build your go-to-market strategy. As we said, first you understand your market, then you get your user persona, understand their pain, your value proposition. Then we come to the pricing, and then we said the messaging, and then we said how will we deliver this message. And then after we deliver the marketing message and the customer starts to buy our product, how are we gonna distribute this product to him? How can he get this value? So actually the go-to-market strategy is a little bit different plan for a very specific time. And there is one big difference between the go-to-market strategy and the business plan and the marketing plan and any other kind of plan. In the go-to-market strategy, we are doing assumptions. We are not there yet. We don't understand the market. So it's all about validating our assumption. It should be flexible to the max. That's why I disagree when people invest a lot of time and write very sophisticated documents and very well-designed slides and all this stuff. Guys, you can change all of this by just one customer feedback. Just the customer that give you a very, very detailed and logic feedback, you can build all of this and rebuild it again.
Right.
So the point that you should be very, very flexible when you do a go-to-market strategy. Go-to-market strategy is more like an experimentation plan. We are doing a plan that guides us through the experiment to understand what's happening, because we are not in the market yet. We are just starting. So this is really different, because you build a very, very detailed marketing plan when you have some fixed variables to stay. So when you have some fixed points to start, you need some foundation to build the marketing plan. But when you are planning your go-to-market strategy, you're still in the dark. You are trying to discover your way through the dark. You are not there yet. You don't understand the market. You don't understand your customers, and you don't have a feedback loop to understand what's happening after you launch the product. So,
right. Right. Nadine is saying, hi, it's the first time to hear about Taskty and it seems really interesting. But on your LinkedIn page, it says that you provide services that range from translation, copywriting, graphic design to event
Yeah,
photography.
she
Website
got
is
this mistake. This is the loss of focus that I was talking about. Actually, we stopped doing this like 5 years ago. At the beginning, we were so idiots to offer services at the same time for house cleaning and company house cleaning and maintenance. At the same time, offering packages to the companies includes cleaning, maintenance, and translation and graphic design.
Right, right.
So yeah, we did this mistake. I used to be a dentist. It was my first serious project. We did this mistake. I can't escape from this.
Right. So Ahmed Abdelaziz, related to this, he's saying, so you told us not to lose focus and get scattered over many target customers and many value propositions. Now, what is the value proposition that Taskty is focused on?
Mainly for now, reliability and safety of the service. That's the main two value propositions we offer.
Right. Reliability. Right.
Yeah.
Ahmed Hossam is replying to our question. Digital transformation is my business and I'm suffering.
Yeah.
He's doing nothing. So this is where his questions were coming from earlier regarding the pricing and regarding customers pushing to go lower and lower in terms of pricing, right?
Yeah.
So we were moving, just to wrap up a little bit, we were moving towards 5 tips, right, to build this go-to-market
Mhm.
strategy. You were talking about pricing, right? And once
Yeah.
that is defined, what comes next?
Once you have a price in your hand, now you are ready to start writing your message, and now you need a channel to deliver those messages. And this
Mhm.
is very, very challenging. This part is really challenging. Why? Because there is a lot of channels that you can use to deliver your message to the
Mhm.
customer. Actually, I was using a list that we were joining a growth hacking program at Seed Stars in last year,
Yeah.
and they prepared the list with like 26 different channels that you can deliver your marketing message, starting from door-to-door knocking until digital marketing and social media. So there's multiple ways to influencers, affiliate marketers, social media. Social media got a lot of subcategories inside of it. TV ads, TV advertisements, radio, billboards. There's a lot of things. So how can you, as a startup, select what's the best channel to use? So usually I advise people to say, first you need to understand your customers really well. That's
Mhm.
number one. Number two, you need to find a channel that will give you the flexibility to change and be lean, very, very, very lean. Like when I do online advertisements, when I'm spending today $100 and the campaign is bad, today I can shut it down and start another one.
Right.
But if I go to make a very, very big billboard that I rent monthly, this money is gone.
Right.
If the plan, if the message is not right, if you selected the wrong audience, if you selected the wrong places, this money is wasted. So you need in the very early days of the go to market strategy of the go into market, the first launching or so, you need to focus on the channels that give you flexibility to change, to test until you reach what's really working for you.
Right.
So usually I prepare a list of this of those channels. I select like 5 or 6 of them that will be more suitable to my customers,
Mhm.
and then I start to do a prioritization. What
Right.
is the impact expected from each one of them? What is the impact expected from each one of them? What is the how my confidence? Am I confident about this, or it's tricky for me? I don't know exactly if it's gonna work or not. And also you put the cost, the money, you put a lot of factors, and you start to prioritize based on those channels, and at
Mhm.
least try 2 or 3 of them. Don't stick yourself to just one channel, because sometimes you are doing everything right, but it's not the right channel for you. And you said, okay, there is no need for this product, and close your startup. And actually, you tried just one channel,
Mhm.
so you need to change to track like 2 or 3 of them to be able to see the big picture. And any channel that you are using, you must be able to track it really, really, really well.
Right.
Any channel that doesn't give you the chance to track every single customer, every single purchase, don't use it. Because we are already in the dark. At this stage, we are already in the dark. You need to, our plan is to see what's happening. If the channel is not helping you to see what's happening, so it's useless. Even if it's gonna bring some customers for you.
Right. Feedback in this case is crucial, right? Getting that kind of
Yeah.
feedback awareness, right?
Exactly. Imagine doing TV ads and radio ads at the same time. And you are receiving customers and you don't know exactly where they came from. Because the both channels are not trackable. Yeah. Unless you do promo codes. Sometimes you do promo codes. You do different promo codes on TV and different promo codes on radio, so they can track both of them. But it's not easy for a very small marketing team with not a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Without a lot of experience. Yeah.
Ahmed Yusuf is asking, did you discover a suitable segment to target that you didn't put in your mind before? If you can give us an example, please.
Actually, it wasn't the list, but it was not the top priority for us.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. I'm not. You have competition. I can't share everything with you right now. But yeah. Some segments are really. Some segments were expected, like young moms with a successful career living outside the town center because they don't have access to the services. Mm-hmm. This was a big segment, and we were focusing on it from day one, and it's still one of our best segments. So, but yeah, sometimes we discover something new, and it's really big. It happens.
In terms of channels, do you have a few channels that you can recommend that you can track? So obviously, Facebook. Yeah, but what aside that?
Yeah, actually, usually all the digital channels can be tracked very well. Inside the digital, anything that CPA, which is cost per action, whatever the action is, you can track it very well. Cost per install can be tracked. This type of campaign can be tracked very well. Most of the online campaigns can be tracked, even post engagement. You can track it somehow. You can use UTM tags. You can use there is a lot of ways to track it. But usually online is a very good channel. It's a very good channel at the beginning because you can track everything and you can follow everything happening.
When is a go-to-market strategy considered successful? What is the milestone where you say, okay, we're good?
For me, when you reach the product market fit. Mm-hmm. How can you know that you reach the product market fit? People are using the product. So people discover the product, use the product. They like the product, so they use it, and they like it. Here means it solves their problem. The problems that we build the product to solve, it's helping to solve this problem. So usually when your product helps people to solve their problems, they are happy. So the people are using the product, they are happy, and they love the product. That's number 2. Number 3, they are willing to pay some money to get your product. Number 4, which is the most important thing, they come back. So they don't drop. Let's say that, and it happened actually with one of the startups I was mentoring. They did a very successful launching campaign. They acquired thousands of customers in like the first 2 months. But the point that the retention curve was really bad. Most of the people were not coming back. So what's happening is that you promise people about something that you can deliver. So they came and they used your product and they paid the money based on the promise you gave them. But actually, after they used the product, they didn't come back. So mainly when you are having a good product market fit, you will find the retention. You will find some people come back and reuse the product. It shouldn't be the biggest thing because you should work on the retention more. Retention is mainly a game. After the product market fit, you will start to work more on retention and it will start to increase. But you should have some percentage of your customers are coming back and reusing the product. If everyone is churning, most probably there's a big problem and you don't have the product market fit yet.
Right. Is there a milestone in terms of numbers of users or numbers of customers?
It depends on the business. If you are selling real estate, if you are doing 10 sales per month, you are good. If you are selling T-shirts, you need 1,000. If you are selling, it depends because it's different. It depends on the market. But usually for the B2C, if you can find that, let's say, if like half of your customer come back and reuse the product, you should be in a good position.
Right.
Even half is a little bit high. Maybe like at the very early beginning, if 30% of your customer come back and reuse the product and pay for it again, usually you are in a good position. This is in a B2C, not subscription, not SaaS, not everything.
So we have 3 more questions. We're going to take the last questions because I know you're very busy and we're running out of time.
No, I'm okay.
Talking about channels, going back to our question about channels, Ahmed Abdelaziz says, I guess you're talking online channels, Facebook ads, to be precise. This channel gives you a hold on your customers' behavior. Am I right?
Give you what? A hold?
A hold on your customers' behavior.
What's the meaning of a hold? It means you can track your customer behavior?
Control. Yeah, it gives you control or gives you ability to track.
Usually all the online channels give you some insights about the customer behavior. If you are using, and it's not just the ads, you should have some some tools inside your product to track the customer behavior inside the product, like the analytics tool, like the mixed panel, Google Analytics for developers, analytics, everything. But most of the well advanced digital platforms for advertisement, usually most of them gives you very, very detailed attribution tracking. Attribution tracking, which means I want to know this customer, for each customer who buy this package, I need to know what is, for example, the campaign that first acquired him, and if he saw any other campaigns as a remarketing campaign, how many times did we need to display the ad for him to buy, and what's the retention rate of this kind of campaign? What is the retention rate of this kind of campaign? What is the customer lifetime value of this advertisement? What is the customer lifetime value? For example, what is the customer lifetime value when I target females? What's the customer lifetime value when I target males? Most of this information you will find it in the analytics tool, and when you connect it to the advertisement platforms.
Right. Ahmed Hossein is saying, technology is my business here in Egypt. My advice to buy a CRM, and it helps you a lot.
Yes, I agree with this 100%.
Ahmed Youssef, what is your retention strategy, especially in the competition? I assume it means especially with regards to what your competitors are doing.
Yeah. Mainly we say, if the customer got a good experience, this is the best retention tool you can do. This is the best retention strategy you can have. But sure, it's not just the quality of the service. It's quality of the service, like 80% of it. But the other 20% is the normal customer behavior, customer journey automation, which is like sending some marketing messages at some definite times to make the customer remember the brand, doing some very special campaigns, very special discounts to our loyal customers, building a long-term relationship with the customer. Even sometimes I call them personally to hear what's happening. For example, when we have a system that it can track when a very loyal customer churn, he stopped using the service. We have to understand what's happening. So it's a mix between using different channels, using different marketing messages, and for sure, number 1 and 2 and 3 is the quality of the same service. We always say that the best retention campaign we can do, that the technician go to the customer, do his work, and leave, and the customer is happy. That's the best retention campaign we can do.
Right. So we have 2 more. Ahmed Abdelaziz, could you summarize the 5 tips for a perfect go-to-market strategy? This is great to sort of close the session. And Mohammed Nabi says, what is your take on Karim's case dropping Karim Bus in the region?
Let's first talk about Karim. I see. I just got the news now. I guess it's a game of cash, because we are in a bootstrapping period right now. The effect of COVID is not nice to most of the businesses. So most of the businesses are trying to reduce the cash burn. That's why today you can put the two articles in context, because Uber is dropping Uber Eats and Kareem is dropping Kareem Pass and laying off 30% of their employees. So it's mainly all the companies try to burn as less cash as they can, because there's some uncertainty. People don't understand what will happen. So companies try to be more cash efficient. That's it. Because I
Yeah.
see there is a lot of competition here. Our friends in Swivel is giving them a hard time here in Egypt. So there is a big competition, and the competitor is mainly an Egyptian company. Now it's based in UAE, but it used to be an Egyptian company, very well funded company, with very very good founders, and they know what they
Very
are doing.
strong team. Yeah.
So yeah, most probably it will be a war here that they don't want to go through this war during this tough time. So
Right.
they are trying to focus mainly on the markets with a positive cash flow, with no big competitions.
Right.
So
So Mohammed Nabil, tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be hosting also Hadir Shalabi, who was former general manager of Kareem. So
yeah,
you can
yeah.
also send her your questions here in the comments tomorrow.
Hadir is a great as a friend of mine. She's a great person, and she's an expert in what she does. She's like
Amazing.
one of my mentors. I always ask her about everything.
And a super successful founder. I mean, she
Yeah,
started even way before Kareem,
yeah,
the one that
yeah.
introduced the brand to Egypt. So yeah, I'm
She's
super
one of the best.
excited for
She's
that
one of
day.
the best.
Ahmed Yusuf, what is your opinion to buy a software that track every information about the customer, or to increase the marketing budget, especially in the beginning?
Depends on the number, because I need to have the
Right.
cost of the posting. But usually I would go for tracking. I would go for
For
tracking. I'm a
tracking.
very data driven person. So I prefer to have some data, even if I'll use this product for like 2 or 3 months to understand what's happening. Maybe stop using it if it's too expensive. I might stop using it after 3 months, but I want to get some data from it first.
Right, right. Especially at the beginning, right, where it allows
Yeah,
you to really go lean and modify, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
we were left with another question, which was summarizing
Yeah,
up the five tips.
yeah. Okay. I'll most probably there will be the mistake that we did. Number one, never lose your focus. This is number one. Never use your focus.
Mhm.
Sell if you can sell just one value proposition to a one very definite segment using a one very well performing channel. Just do it. Don't try to build a lot of stuff, a lot of features, a lot of selling everything to everyone. That's a big mistake. That's number one. Number two, you should master customer interviewing. Learning how to speak to your customer and extract the data that you need is very, very, very important at the beginning.
Mhm. Mhm.
So here you should understand that what people say is something, and what they actually do is totally different. If you go now and ask someone, "Do you like healthy food?" "Yeah, I like healthy food. Healthy food is great. And what's your last meal?" It was like a big, large Papa John's pizza. So you need to learn how to extract the data. There is a very, very good book I suggest that everyone should read. It's called The Mom Test, like your mama, like MOM.
The mom test,
It's
yes.
called The Mom Test. Yeah, it's a must read for anyone in the building a startup from scratch. So that's number two. Number
Number.
three, number three, just being cheap in price, it's not uh, a value proposition
Mhm. Mhm.
unless you are really good in everything else. It can help you to grow faster. It can help you to acquire more customers, but just focusing on squeezing your margins to be the cheapest while everything else is bad, it's not a good strategy to build a startup, and it's not a good strategy to win a market.
Mhm.
Uh, now I'm forgetting.
Well,
Now we have
we had pricing and channels.
yeah, channels again. You can fix what you can track. So always stay with the flexible, trackable channels. And at the beginning, you must use some face-to-face marketing. You should go and speak to some customers yourself. It's
Mhm.
it's really 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 important. You should leave your house and leave your office and go to the street and talk to your customers and sometimes enjoy rejection, enjoy very negative feedback. It's part of your job. You will do it on a daily basis. You will be rejected every day from customers, from investors, from partners, from top talents. It will happen to you. So you need to get used to it very, very early.
Right.
The last thing, be
Mhm.
extremely lean with everything. Just you need to be 100% sure that you will rebuild almost everything. So don't spend a lot of money on things that you will rebuild. Try to be lean, try to get a minimum viable product really quickly, push it into the market really quickly, get a feedback really quickly to have some money to rebuild. So forget about perfectionism, forget about buying what you can rent, forget about wasting your resources on a perfect product that you will rebuild completely in just 2 or 3 months later. So
Right, right. So the last one we have, he's asking for advice, Mohammed Hassan. Hi, Valentina and Ahmed. Thanks for all the great information you provide us. I have built a SaaS product that helps people manage their social media, like Buffer or Hootsuite for Arabic speakers. Now I have an MVP running online and still working on other great features, but I have no idea how to start the marketing and how to enter the market. Could you tell me how to start? So he's asking for an advice here.
it depends if you don't know how to start marketing is how can you deliver your message, or you don't know exactly what the message is, because it's totally different stuff. If you don't know exactly what is the message that you should deliver to your customers, you need to speak to them. You need to show them your product. You already built a product, so you show them the product and you find if it's satisfying their needs. If there is a very big problem that this product is solving. If there is not a very big problem, or not of your if your product is not solving a big pain, you should think about something painful for them and trying to find a solution for it. So this is regarding the message. If you can start a marketing campaign at the beginning, you can start it yourself. You can do some self research. You can read some online articles, and you can start doing some online campaigns. Usually, the easiest way to do is to do a Facebook campaign targeting people whose interest like social media, because your customers here. Because also there's another thing that we didn't mention, that sometimes the customer persona is not just one person. You have someone who will pay for the product, someone will use the product, someone will approve using the product. So sometimes you need to discover what is the people who will be important as decision makers, and then you go and target them online. And you can also try some search advertisement on Google. Just find the relevant keywords that your target customers use to search online, and you start to show them your product. Sure, it's a very brief advice. Usually, it's not gonna work the way it's supposed to be. But my advice to you, just go and read a little bit online about it, and you will be able to do it. It's not rocket science, and you can actually send me, and I can help you move on.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. This has been
Thank you a lot,
such
Valentina. Thank
an
you a lot.
interactive session.
I hope I didn't talk that much as usual and destroy your your plan.
No, I mean, there were so many questions, and I believe we
Yeah.
exhausted them. Where can people contact you? Some of the audience are saying, I believe we can talk, especially I'm working in the same field. So if people want to contact you, where should they hit you?
I think you can share with them my email if someone.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Perfect. So
they can find me on Facebook too. I'm on
okay,
Facebook.
perfect.
Yeah.
So you can find him on Facebook, or we can share his email on a private message as well. Perfect.
Thank you a lot.
So
Thank
much,
you a lot,
Ahmed.
Valentina.
It's
It was a
been a
pleasure being with
pleasure.
you today, and hope to see you physically sometime soon.
Inshallah, hopefully soon when the
Inshallah, inshallah.
lockdown goes down. I can't wait to
Yeah,
Egypt.
yeah. We would be
Thank you so
very
much.
happy to have you here.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in to the sessions. We will see you tomorrow. We have a very interesting session about how to deal with the COVID situation with your teams. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.